So what are your criteria? Like age and refraction, and what options do you offer? Like,
Okay, sure, we'll go through that. So, Dr. Shekhar, absolutely. Dr. Carr, any question from you from Chicago? What do you do, Keratoconus?
Yeah, like you pretty much is like, when do you know if you need to do intact versus when should you start cross-linking or?
Okay, great, all right. So let's go with this diagram here, I think, and my first and most important thing is I believe keratoconus patients can see. That's the first thing. Break the ice right there. Don't assume they're a disease and they're supposed to be blind. No. First thing they see. And how many patients have you seen now over here? Just literally your day 2 here.
Yeah.
Everybody, and keratoconus patient, what is their vision?
20/20.
Without
any correction.
no glasses, no contacts.
Yeah.
And now you'll have seen these patients impromptu while here. And the important thing then is once you believe they can see 20/20, get to work. So to me, there is no such thing as mild, moderate, severe. What does that mean? Nothing. So how do I think? The minute you, as an optometrist, Shekhar, you're a very established optometrist, you're expert in scleral contacts. Dr. Carr, you're from Chicago School of Optometry. You studied for your boards just now.
Yeah.
So important. Keratoconus is a disease where the cornea is shaped like a cone. I'm just going to graphic.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do here? To me, it doesn't matter how high the cone is or how thin the cone is. I'm like, does he have vision or she? I start refracting as you saw me do that.
Yeah.
Or you will send me your refraction information. Every optometrist in the world, when they send me their patient, they do that, right? Or eye surgeon. I just want to know, are they 20/20 or no? If they're 20/20, then I go into my accurate surgeries. If they're not 20/20, I go into my inaccurate surgeries. Inaccurate surgeries are the one with which I can build or repair or prepare the cornea. Intacts, cross-linking, lamellar corneal surgeries, all those different types. Accurate surgeries are the one where you know exactly what you're getting visually. Laser surgery, laser plastique, superficial laser techniques, not LASIK, laser plastique, ICL, cataract lenses, secondary lens implants, piggyback lenses, all those are accurate surgeries. Accurate surgery you do only when the cornea is measurable and stable, right? Inaccurate surgeries, for the lack of a better word, are those with which I'm building or preparing that cornea or the eye to then have an accurate surgery or go into a scleral contact lens and we are done. Our aim though is not just to put them into a contact, but to actually give them vision freedom.
20/20 vision.
Exactly. Again, 20/20 is not a guarantee, but it's a guarantee with you as a doctor, as a surgeon, that you want 20/20. The patient, of course, knows that's difficult, but if they land there, why not? Like all the patients you saw just recently, impromptu here, right?
Yeah.
So, the way I look at it is the cornea is keratoconus. I understand that, but how do we correct them? So, among the patients you saw here, let's say you saw Denise that day, right? Denise had come in keratoconus. She actually had an intact complication. Her surgeon put the intact and it went inside the eye. It's no big deal. Pulled the ring out and I did laser plastic on her cornea and brought her straight to 20/20. Other eye, because she was changing, I first did cross-linking on her cornea, made it stable because it was measurable though, 20/20, and did laser to a perfect basketball, 20/20. Got it? Now let's go inside the eye for the patient you were asking. Let's make the patient 60 years old and give them keratoconus. Now, most patients, once you cross the age of 50, are naturally getting cross-linked in the cornea. Of course, there are many patients who still progress, but let's take a normal system. Mostly cross-linked. So I don't cross-link anybody unless it's needed. Why waste patients' money and time? Keep that in your back pocket if needed to trap the vision that you're going to get. So in those cases, you can even do toric lenses for their cataract surgery. Or if they're not cataract age and high myopia, ICL in the eye. You can match ICL with extra toric correction with laser on the surface, not LASIK, laser plastic, which takes 3 days to heal. No pain, as you saw, you heard the patients.
Yeah.
Anybody with pain?
No one.
Even on asking. So those are concepts. Then I've even gone so extreme, which is very rare, like a surgeon that you haven't seen yet. I had to do a lamellar transplant. I took off a layer because his cornea was down to 120 and very ectatic. 80 diopters keratometry, 15 diopters astigmatism, so basically unmeasurable. Again, I'm now doing a structural inaccurate surgery, lamellar corneal transplant. never a penetrating transplant, but that disables people for life. It's a clear cornea with no vision. What's the point? You're back in hard contacts.
Yeah.
Of course, if a cornea perforates, which is very extreme, then yes, penetrating. So, lamellar surgery is very difficult to do in these cases where it's very deep, but that's the way you hold yourself accountable. And then you can do laser on this, because now you have enough tissue, you built it.
Correct.
Or patient's cataract age, go in and do an accurate cataract surgery. Or patient's young but high myopia with this, you go in with ICL, toric ICL, again no limits. And you can always cross-link wherever the patient is confirmed 20/20 and not changing. But not cross-link first. So cross-linking concept of cornea that you asked me, I call that keratoscoliosis concept. Meaning, doctors are by mistake or just not thinking, they are putting all these patients with keratoconus into cross-linking first, which is wrong. You're seeing patients coming here with complications of cross-linking. I think the most severe issue, not even complication, is that they have left the patient permanently disabled. Think about it. You have a bent spine, right? That's why it's called the Gulani keratoscoliosis concept, but you have a bent spine, right? This is called kyphosis. Bent spine.
Yep.
Now, you tell the mother your child has a bent spine, like keratoconus, and I'm going to put a new cement that has just been approved by FDA. So that cement is going to keep that spine from bending anymore. And the mother will say, doctor, I know you're very smart. I'm not that smart, doc, but I have one question as a mother. Why won't you straighten the spine and then put cement on it? Otherwise, my son is or daughter is disabled forever.
Yeah.
I know it won't bend anymore, but you've left her disabled forever. That's the whole concept. So turn the spine straight, make it straight, the whole spine, right? And then put the cross-linking to keep it straight. These are all the surgeries I'm talking about, to take keratoconus and make it perfect shape, make it C, and then cross-link if needed. That's the correct way. The only other time to cross-link, according to me, is if the patient is constantly changing and not being measurable. Correct? Yes.
So, since most of the optometrists and ophthalmologists are now, since as you said, it is available, so let us cross-link everyone. So there are so many keratoconus patients under cross-link. Can they be corrected again?
Very good question, and answer is yes. In fact, this week we have, I think, 7 or 9 patients coming like this from all over the world. They've been crossing. Now it does make my job a little more difficult.
Right, yeah.
Because now I'm trying to reshape the cornea with my laser techniques, but it has some resistance because it is bent with cement.
Right.
But I have seen great results. Over the last 2 decades, I've been correcting these cross-linked patients. In fact, as you saw some today, answer is yes, they can still be corrected if they are cross-linked. Yes, it does make my job a little more difficult, but yes.
Right. Then it is just, of course, it depends on the case to case, but does that warrant or require ICA, I mean, the intrastomal ring or something like that?
Again.
Because now it is more sturdy.
Again, yes, it does make my job a little more difficult, like I said, because it's cemented now.
Yeah.
But the answer is it doesn't change our desire. We still want perfect vision. So, again, if the patient is, let's say, when do I use intact? When the patient is not 20/20 less than 20/40, let's say, best correct. Cornea is changing all the time. It is irregular, not measurable. Remember my words, just
Not
two simple.
measurable, yeah.
Measurable and stable. Just 2 simple words. The way I teach is very simple. Accurate surgeries, non-accurate surgeries. Measurable and stable cornea, go inside the eye with full confidence. Otherwise, you're doing something wrong with the patient. So once you do that, now intact becomes a way of correcting this 8 feet tall guy into somewhere close to 6 feet. Now, this guy can get a suit in the mall on the rack.
Right.
Because at least he or she is close to normal.
Yeah.
You can't predict. That's why it's not accurate surgery. But the patient is brought to more normal. Then, because it's more measurable, now go with your accurate surgeries, whatever it is, high myopia, ICL, high astigmatism, low myopia, laser, cataract, toric lenses. If somebody has a lens, pseudophakic, previous cataract, piggyback a lens on top of it. So many options. No limits. No limits. So the whole thing here is, with all the cases you presented, Doc, that you see, with so many keratoconus patients you see, nobody that cannot be helped. Basic age, one was the other question that you just asked also. Basic age, they must be over 20 and stable. If not, then yes, they can continue into their contacts or whatever. Or if they're then 20 and above and they are 20/20 vision, you don't want to lose that window. So that's another indication for cross-linking. That's why I said cross-linking to me is just 2 indications. The patient is constantly changing, not measurable, and a patient who you have fixed to 20/20 and you fear will change, so you lock it in.
But you will correct 20/20 vision with your surgery and then do cross-linking.
Yes. So I call it trapping the vision.
Yes. So that is what is going wrong in the
Yes.
field, that people are doing cross-linking first, and then okay, it's not going to progress, but they are permanently disabled, in the sense no question of improving further.
Exactly right, doctor. You're absolutely right, and that's why you're seeing these patients fly here.
Right.
And their complaint is very simple.
Can't see.
Can't see. And the doctor keeps on saying in the chart, stable. Topography stable.
Yeah.
And the patient like,
What do I do with that?
what do I do with that? We can't see. Like that patient today morning, we took the call from London. Confused. But the patients understand when you explain it this way that it's keratoconus. Yes, we understand. You have a leg that is weak and crooked. But let's make you run in the Olympics with it.
So do you have a cutoff point, or like a corneal thickness or something?
Very good point again. So again, Doc, I don't think of things as limits. I look at it as possibility. There's a difference again, how simply I put this. Let's say the cornea, just give me any case, Doc. Come on. Now just punch me in everywhere and I'll keep
So
coming out of the
say
water.
About 240 thickness.
240 thickness.
Yeah, minus 8 with minus 6 cylinder.
Okay,
Vision about 20/40.
fine. This is with refraction vision, right? 20/40.
Correct.
Which is excellent vision.
Yes.
Which is excellent vision.
Yes.
Okay. Doctor, what will you do? Come on.
I mean, yeah, 20/40, so we're gonna do the inaccurate.
First of all, you're excited? 20/40?
Yeah, 20/40.
So now you understand that? I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's vision we can't let go.
Yeah.
For this patient, that 20/40 coming from 2400 is night and day. And if it's a young kid, which most likely you're saying it is, obviously it's our goal, right? We want it. Now, as long as you as a doctor, referring doctor, optometrist has told me she's stable, at least 2 years refraction, stable, over 21 years, etc., I'm ready to roll. In fact, we shouldn't lose this window. So what am I going to do in this case? You see how corneal thickness doesn't matter. I will never do -8 on a K-conus laser. Laser plastique on K-conus is more for astigmatism and some myopia. That's the best ablation profile for night vision, which you saw these patients telling you. The firefighter, correct? Now, in this case, I would go toric ICL.
Oh,
I'm done.
Mhm.
Now, you can even question, Doc, but I haven't told you the chamber depth. Am I even concerned about chamber depth? Why? See the logic here. I don't need to see your topography.
Yeah, it's a keratoconus.
Lovely. The cornea is already, the chamber is deep, man.
Yeah.
I'm done. So now, if you want, take the same patient and make them 70 years old. Now, I'm going on the lens. You with me?
Yeah.
Correct? Now I'm going on the lens part of this eye and fixing it like a cataract surgery.
So what if they were younger? You put in ICL. Now they're like 65. Now they need cataracts.
Lovely. Pull the ICL out. It doesn't change even your measurement of the lens. Pull it out is like a 10 seconds more than your surgery. If your cataract takes 4 minutes, then maybe add 10-15 seconds for that. Same topical anesthesia as you've seen me do. Bring the ICL out, do the cataract, you're done. And it doesn't even change your measurement of the lens, just to
Yeah.
Yep, in my experience, yeah.
So in
Okay.
which case he will do an additive surgery, like a DALK or
Lovely. Additive, very nice word. Additive, that also adds to lenses, remember.
yes.
So there's a pilot, I'll show you his case too. So let's say a patient has had cataract surgery, okay? Like this lady who just came from North Carolina. Let's say, and the doctor has done a good job of cataract, but the lens obviously wasn't correct.
It wasn't centered.
Exactly, so the patient is not seeing well. Then you can do a piggyback lens. I can put another lens on this lens.
Oh,
Piggyback. Now, let's say the capsule, he did not yag. I can exchange this lens. So this case, North Carolina patient you just saw, her bag was open. So exchanging the lens means trauma to the vitreous. Can I do it? Yes, surgical skills, absolutely, but you're damaging the patient's vision. Remember, one thing I teach all the time. It's not about surgery, it's about vision. Cannot lose vision, right? So that case, I would exchange her lens. But because the bag is open, I'd rather put a lens on the lens and correct the vision. Now, am I still limited? No. We just told you it's a cataract age, meaning the cornea is mostly cross-linked. I can still keep time or place for my laser plastique if I ever need to. Don't have to. You see my point?
Yeah.
Every patient deserves only one plan, not options. Options is what waiters give on a menu card. Shouldn't be from surgeons. Correct? Because the patient trusts you. Patient trusts you. So Any other example now? So the point is, I love how he's taking me, and for benefit of his colleagues, this recording that they're doing impromptu, but take any patient you want, Shaker, and keep changing the parameters for me.
Yeah, so-
and I will not give up. I will keep coming out of the water.
See, most of the time what we see is anything between 12, 14 years till 24.
Fine.
And that's the first time, or maybe 2
When you are
years.
seeing them as an
Yeah.
optometrist, yes.
And everybody wants a permanent solution.
Correct.
And there is not much of information available for them to go for a surgery. And that's why I'm asking these questions, because we put them on scleral lenses, but it's a prosthesis.
Correct.
That means their whole life depends on cleaning and putting and taking care and
That's right.
no.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. So up till that age is the age where actually the optometrist does a great job managing because the patient's growing.
Yeah.
So it's not even so much a change as a normal growth, right? You want no surgeries. Now, certain cases there you can cross-link, so you can stop them from going extreme. Are we okay? That's a great indication for
And
cross-linking.
then continue with the scleral lens or something.
Whatever, because you're giving them good vision. Children are athletic at that age. We are doing a great job as an optometrist keeping them seeing. Once they cross 21, which is normal, most people stop growing, unless you can keep showing the progress. That's when you want to attack.
Okay.
Attack because the vision is still 2030, 2020, 2025. By losing the vision and waiting, that's the crime. That's criminal. Now the patient has horrible vision. Now patients are being flown to me, Dr. Gulani, can you do something? Well, you wore contacts for 10 years. After that, you scarred your cornea. Your cornea has progressed to 70 diopters case. Now I can't do 2020. I can still try. But you'll end at 2050, 2060. That's still great. But that's the stage to catch them. Perfect. Perfect question. So from 21 onwards, every K-conus patient we have to look at as, you're 2020 unless I'm failing.
Right.
Now the role of scleral contact lenses, which doctor you're also seeing a lot, is great with patient surgeons, doctors like you, especially doctor, you got so much experience with scleral contacts. It's not just to be put first on the patient. It's actually to be done once the surgeon has finished his job. Let's say as surgeon, I try, but these patients are not virgin cornea. They land at 2050 with all my work. Now you put your
Then the remaining thing can be corrected.
Absolutely, because now at least they're not disabled under it and they are fixed.
Yeah.
It's not a broken bone, you just put a crutch and going, look, they can walk, look, this is great. But every time he takes off the crutch, he can't walk. Disabled for life. And the disability is increasing degeneratively. So you left it. I would fix it to the best we can as a surgeon with these concepts of vision. Then you put a scleral contact, bring them to 2020 magic. Now when they remove it, they're still not disabled, they can function with 2050. And the contact makes them 2020. Now they can get into sports, life, enjoy.
So,
That's the correct answer. Yeah.
many times we see patients who use RGP lenses for a long time on keratoconus ultimately land up with a corneal scar.
Correct.
And with the scleral lenses, though we can get up to 20/20, but the quality is not good because the scar is coming in between. So
Correct.
can you do just a scar?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. So that patient we just saw was the scar one, Denise. Yes, the scar can be removed and treated and back to scleral lens, or
while removing the scar, can you do the correction?
you got it. Answer is yes. Yes. That's what corneoplasty is, right?
What are the treatment options for it?
Again, see, to me what's important. It doesn't matter that it was high drops.
Yes.
High
The
drops
permanent
actually
opacity at the end of the ear.
got it. The beauty is the more posterior the opacity, the less impactful on vision.
Okay.
The way I look at high drops, it's nature's way of helping the K-conus
Right.
patient. The cornea becomes flatter,
Yeah.
becomes much more compact, and yes, you have a posterior opacity. I'm fine. Let it heal. Once it heals, tackle it like a corneal issue, refractive issue though.
Okay.
Last thing on your mind is a PKP. Last thing. Never. That's it. Patients see high drops, so many patients are treated. And especially when they've come back after their acute phase is gone. The cornea looks much more better and
Oh, yeah.
flatter, and they have. And what is the biggest trick or pearl of my corneoplasty concept? How come I'm treating patients with scars and herpes scar? You saw the patient from Poland. Is to make the scar more posterior. Refraction, right? The light cornea is the biggest refractive index change.
Yeah.
The more posterior, the less impactful. Period. That's it. So any of these situations, instead of looking at that patient and going, oh my god, or looking at the topography and going, oh, it's 90 diopters keratometry. That's fine. Think 20/20 and then try and defeat yourself and why you can't do it. So my whole mindset when I see a keratoconus or RTA patient or scar, all these complication patients you saw even today coming in, very simple. I believe they can see. And then what tests we do, doctor, for all of them?
The perception test.
Exactly. And what answer did I give you?
It's 10, like it better.
10 on 10.
10 out
That tells you ethically also you're worth to see. So keratoconus, there are over 20 surgery techniques that are used, close to 25, 30 technologies, and combinations are unlimited.
Yes.
Unlimited.
Amazing.
So every keratoconus patient deserves vision, even if they've had a surgical complication, even if they've had bad intact, bad transplant, doesn't matter. It's fixable.
How much is the chance of getting a eye drops after you have done the procedure? They never
I've
got
not
eye
had
drops.
any. I've not had any. But again, that could be unrelated.
Okay.
But I've not had any, and maybe because also the patients we are selecting for surgery obviously follow a system, right? If the cornea was that thin or that disruptive, there wouldn't be process of this technique.
Correct.
Then I would do my deep lamellar surgeries for them.
First of all, I had
Correct? Because if you do that, it means you already worked on a cornea that was wrong. Right? So to me, I disregard the extent of keratoconus. I don't believe in these grading systems. It's like, it's fascinating when you see the notes here when the patients come in. Grade 3, 4, this, that, but what are you doing below that? Nothing. So patient is being sent home with, you have grade 4 cancer. And the patient goes, now what? I said, now nothing.
grade 4.
I did a great job. I just gave you a grade.
Yeah.
And the patient goes, that's not why I'm here.
You want a vision, huh?
We want to see. So that is the basic point I'm trying to get across. Optometrists are doing a great job. Ophthalmologists need to think like optometry and think about vision, not just surgery. Can't do surgery and send the patient home with 2100 vision. Can't say topo guided surgery. That's another thing going on. Topo guided we did. And the charts are all saying topo guided, topography looks smooth. The patient's blind. Refraction is what gives them vision.
So most of the keratoconus patients complains of ghosting and distorted vision. So obviously that is because of the corneal, posterior and front cornea.
Whatever,
So
yes.
you are taking care of. Do you think or do you have any analysis for that before you go ahead, or you just work on your corneal measurements?
Of course, you have to first find the culprit.
That's why you do the refraction.
You saw that patient today we saw who came for LASIK, right? Actually a keratoconus, but the cornea was thick. So what did I do next?
Check the endothelium.
Lovely, and what did we find?
Fuchs.
Fuchs dystrophy.
Yeah.
Lovely point. There's that patient. So keratoconus patient came in with cornea of 590. And if you just go by pachymetry, thickness and refraction, you're like great candidate. No. First thing that threw me off is what I've taught you.
The astigmatism.
Lovely. Against the rule, oblique, changing parameters. Then I look at refraction, then the case. Last thing I looked at is thickness. And our answer is clinically so solid, we go, this can't be true. So we did an endothelium testing on this young girl.
Yeah.
Fuchs. So that is water. So that's my whole point. I don't like doctors looking at parameters and deciding surgery. Look at the system and make sure it makes sense. It has to make sense. Somebody 9 feet tall, even if all the X-ray and CTs and MRIs come normal, there's something wrong with them. People are not 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Someone 11 feet tall is surely wrong. Something's absolutely wrong. That means your machine's not working, but there's wrong. So there has to be a logic. Same for LASIK. Doctors keep asking me every day. I get these emails. Can I do LASIK on this, Dr. Gulani? Can I do PRK? I'm like, that's not how you talk about it. You have to plan among 40 techniques and then decide. So in LASIK, when they keep asking, no one answers this question when I ask them point blank. What's the thickness at which they should stop? Everybody has their own answers. In my experience, there's no such thing as my experience, damn it. It's a logic. It cannot be 520. Well, what about 590? Now you're stuck. That's not an answer. So has to holistically make sense. Has to make sense the anatomy, the physiology, and more important for me is what? Doctor, you've seen all these patients who fly here. What's the first thing I do?
Their vision.
Exactly. I call
That's
it gold. Looking for my gold. If they have vision, I'm like, boom, let's go.
Possible.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we have failed. Not the patient. Patient came with gold. They could see. If I'm doing a procedure, I'm saying, you know what, I just fixed your crooked leg, I've got a whole steel rod in it now. And you go, doc, but I can't walk. I'm like, well, don't know about that, but I'm telling you, the steel rod is in now. That's like nonsense. So I think keratoconus is very simple. That's why I call it think outside the cone. Optometrist is doing a great job looking after the kids until 21. Then, surgeon has to be confident to fix it, and if needed, cross-link it, done forever. Even if someone has had a problem or mistake, you need to brood over it, it can be fixed. And for all this, the optometrist can even come back at the end again to apply the scleral contact or 3D print and get the patient to even better vision. You know? A keratoconus patient's history is being erased. They were born with a disability and you brought them to 2020. Now, even if not 2020, you aspired for 2020. That's it. I mean, this impromptu, you know, your guys visiting here, impromptu, we have literally covered all my concepts of keratoconus. Very simple. Visually accurate surgeries, structural surgeries. Mix and match, no limits, combinations. Even if someone had complication, can see. Virgin keratoconus absolutely can be helped. The patient doesn't get a guarantee of 2020, but you guarantee yourself that you're fighting for 2020.